All right, moving forward with tonight's media availabilities, we are now joined by tonight's winner of the 75th Annual Cookout Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway, driver and crew chief of the number 14 Stewart Haas Racing Ford Mustang Dark Horse, Chase Briscoe and Richard Boswell. We'll hop straight into questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll do our best to get a mic to you. We'll begin the back over here with Matt Weaver.
Matt Weaver, Sports Not. For Boswell and for Chase too, really. I forget which restart it was, but there was a restart where you said, 320 employees have your back, and we all believe in you, and one last chance to win this race for this team and company. That's a lot of pressure. I mean, I feel like not being in the car, that's pretty heavy. Did you feel comfortable saying that? And then Chase, what is it like to hear that and the weight of it all?
Yeah, I think Chase knows that it's a lot of weight. And, Chase and I had a conversation this week about, we had a conversation before Daytona, thinking that Daytona was, maybe our best opportunity. Just kind of with the way our season's gone and our speedway stuff. And, Chase reassured me Saturday night after Daytona that if we brought him our best, he was going to bring our best. And I told the guys in the shop that, like we do every week, if we give him what he needs, I can assure you he can win this race. And I think when you back him in a corner like that, we've seen it in the past with his career and kind of the path that he's been on. When you back him in a corner, he's dangerous. And I love seeing this Chase Briscoe. I cannot wait to race with this Chase Briscoe for the next 10 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, like Richard said, I feel like I definitely run better under heavy pressure for whatever reason. Like I've just always been like that for whatever reason. And yeah, when Richard told me that, I'm like emotional. Everybody knows that. I started tearing up in the car thinking about like how much was riding on my shoulders at that point. But yeah, I love that stuff. Like I love the Game 7 heavy pressure moment. Like for whatever reason, I just feel like I do a lot better under those situations than not having a lot of pressure. So, yeah, I mean, I put a lot of pressure on myself just going into this week. Last week at Daytona was the worst race by, a mile I've ever raced in my entire career. I was embarrassed, like so embarrassed. I texted Richard literally right before we got on the plane. I said, I don't ever want to talk about this race again. We're not going to talk about it this week. I promise you I will make it up to you next week. And, yeah, I knew that it was going to be one of those do or die moments, right? And we talked about it before the race today. This is the last bullet in the chamber, and we knew that this was going to be a really good opportunity for us, just based on how we raced in the spring, and if we could just get our car a little bit better, and if we executed all night long, I knew we were going to be in the mix, and we executed, and we were obviously in the mix at the end.
And also, will you guys have what you need to make a serious run at this the next 10 weeks?
Yeah, 100%. We've been shutting down since May, and they haven't shut us off yet. So, yeah, I think we'll be totally fine. Obviously, it's going to be an uphill battle, but we feel confident about it.
Yeah, we've known this is coming, right? And the questions have been the same every week, and we respect the questions because that's what you guys do and that's your job. And, I've just tried to remind the guys that it's our job to build fast race cars, right? We know what people are going to ask. We can't help that. That's their job. We respect it. But we're gonna continue to work our butts off. And, I think I told Lee Spencer earlier this evening that it's really sad what's happening because this is, I've been at Stewart Haas Racing for 8 years, and this is the best I've ever seen 4 Cup drivers work together, the best I've ever seen 4 crew chiefs work together. And, I'll be honest, like, I've got 4 teams helping me for these next 3 weeks, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to going to battle with all 4 teams. I think I know that we have a group of guys that support this 14 and are going to do everything that they can. And I think I told Chase at the beginning of the year we needed a mantra for the season and for the year, and it was going to be one goal for all. That was the 14. And I think tonight that just came full circle and came to fruition.
We'll go to up here front here with Bob.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. What's it like to have, I mean, you've been in that position before, but what's it like to have Kyle Busch breathing down your neck in that situation? And what were you, did you run those last 10 laps perfectly, or was it just, man, you holding on?
Yeah, I mean, whenever I got the lead, I knew I was going to be in a really good position. Then on the restart, Christopher, when they gave us the one to go and he picked behind me, he came up behind me into one and hit me and told me he was going to just shove me, give me a huge shove on the start. And he obviously did that, which got me to the lead. And 2 laps later, after I watched Kyle Busch pit behind me, here he is in second. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I've worked 300 and something laps just to get to the lead, and now Kyle's going to come and steal it from us. And it was definitely deja vu because that Xfinity race, I was sideways, way loose at the end, and he just kept running me down. And, I hit the wall like I did in the Xfinity race with 2 to go. And, I was waiting for him to do, obviously, whatever he had to do to get in the playoffs too. And kudos to him for racing me super, super clean. So, the fact that both of my Darlington wins have came, trying to hold off Kyle Busch is pretty cool from just a personal note because that guy is one of the greatest of all time. So, definitely, though, felt like it was 2020 Xfinity all over again.
Go up here with Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. This question's for both of you. Going into Daytona, it's always, wild card. Anybody can win, right? Going into this race, it kind of seemed the consensus was that it wasn't going to be anybody's race. Only a select few could win. Did you guys coming in here feel like you guys could pull the upset tonight? This was as much your race as anybody else's?
Yeah, I felt like it for sure. In the spring we ran 5th here. I think we started 12th, and we just nickel and dimed our way to 5th, all race long, and we just never could get the track position. In this race, when I qualified 3rd yesterday, I knew if I could just keep it in the top 5, that was the goal from lap 1, keep it in the top 5, and if I do that, I'm going to be in the mix. And it was a frustrating night. I watched Kyle Larson lead 320 laps, 20 car lengths behind him, and could just never get by him. And I felt like if I could ever get by him, I would be good. But I thought coming into this weekend that this was a really good opportunity. And truthfully, I felt way better about coming to Darlington than I ever did Daytona, just because I felt like we kind of controlled more of our own destiny, and I knew that our stuff was going to be good, and I felt like I was going to be good because I'm typically pretty good around this place, and I knew that we'd be in the mix.
The second question, this is for Richard. We've heard a lot from the drivers about what's going on at SHR and how they've kind of dealt with it. From your perspective and the crew guys' perspective, what's it been like? You've been mad? You're frustrated? As the doors are closing?
Yeah, I mean, I think for those of us that have been there for quite some time, I think it's sad, right? It sucks. This is family. Every employee there, I would have it at Christmas dinner. So that part of it is sad, and I think the struggle and the difficulty that's come with it has been we have a job to do, and that hasn't changed. And whether it's 60 hours a week or not, it's turned into 70. And I've told people, I can't tell you how many guys I have in my office every week wondering what do I think? Where should I go? I'm worried about my future. Right, and you have to have those conversations just from an empathy standpoint. You have to take those guys in and let them know that you care, and that's just added more work and more hours. And I would say that's been the biggest difference, is just trying to be mindful of what everybody's going through, but also know that we have a job to do and try to do our best to bring the best cars we can every week.
We'll hit Pete, and then we'll go to Dustin.
Pete Iacobelli with the Associated Press for both of you, Chase and Richard. Have you got your minds around the idea of, hey, we're in the playoffs, now we got to plan for the playoffs, and how do you compete against when all the power programs have everybody there again? The 4 Hendrick drivers are there, the 4 Gibbs drivers are there, Penske drivers are there. How is the plan unfolding to kind of be in competition with them in this title chase?
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is we got nothing to lose, right? And if you can win at Darlington, you can win it anywhere on the schedule. This is probably the toughest place to win from just it takes the whole package. Your picker's got to be on it. Your car's got to be good. It takes everything. So, yeah, from that standpoint, I feel like it's totally fine, yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think this is a big sigh of relief, because man, I think the 14 team is really, really excited about the next 3 races. We've had them kind of on our schedule. Just if and how can we find a way to make the playoffs, because we feel like the first 3 races can be one of our strongest rounds. We had a great run at Atlanta earlier this year. Chase does a great job at Bristol. We were able to do the tire test there, and I feel like we made great strides at Watkins Glen last year before we had some tire issues, but we're looking forward to it.
Go, Dustin here.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Chase, what does this place mean to you? And I preface it with when you talk about that Xfinity win, I know that came probably in the depths of a despair that most people can't understand and can't relate to, and then to go through what you've gone through this year, what you had to go through tonight, and then to have your son right there next to you and everything that this track represents. How do you put it into words what this place means?
Yeah, it's hard to put it into words. Truthfully, it's something that, I mean, it's pretty crazy just how God works, right? Like, like we come here 2 days after having a miscarriage and are able to win and beat Kyle Busch, and then 4 years removed, I win here again, beating Kyle Busch, but now I have my son with me, and Marissa's here, pregnant with twins that could literally come at any point. It's just funny how it all works out, right? And just to have them here, Brooks has never seen me win. I mean, obviously he watched it at Phoenix on TV, but, for him to get to experience this, and then for Marissa to be here, when I won all those races during COVID, like, she was never there. Obviously when I won at Phoenix, she wasn't there. This is the last race she's coming to. So yeah, she's been telling me like all weekend, like, you got to get it done. Like, think of that as motivation. So yeah, it's pretty cool to win with them here. And Brooks has actually been telling me the last 3 days, I got to beat Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch. That's all he's told me. And for him to come out to where I had to beat Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch, it's pretty ironic.
And from a racing perspective, can you talk me through the restart and the 3-wide move and all that? From the outside, it looked like that was a dramatic and daring move. Maybe from your seat, that was like, hey, it was right there and it was easy to make. Yeah, I need to watch it back because I think I started inside second row. Ross was on older tires, so I didn't want to pick behind him. I was kind of bummed when I saw how it played out, because I was going to be on the front row with Kyle, and I felt like the restart before that I almost beat him heads up. So I was kind of ticked off that I was going to be second row after our picker did an incredible job to get the front row. And somehow I got to the top in 1 and 2. Like, I don't remember if Ty Gibbs somehow cleared me or what. And I just remember I tried to get a huge run off of 2 because I knew they were going to be too wide. And this car gets a really big draft. So I got a huge run, and my car, at least everybody that I was racing with up front, my car was the only one that could run the bottom in 3 and 4. So I knew early in a run I had that kind of in the back of my mind, and I had that big run. I went to the inside. I felt like I was going to be okay even if I had to run the bottom. And I was surprised Kyle didn't cover and block me farther left. And yeah, I knew we were 3 wide, but I knew Ross was leading. I was going to kind of stack that middle lane up, so I just went in there wide open, and I knew I was going to literally clear Larson by an inch. And I kind of I wasn't going to let myself not win a crown jewel by not clearing myself on Kyle Larson. If you go back and watch the Coke 600, I had the race won with 4 to go, and I let him back by when I was an inch clear. So yeah, I was just taking it all the way to the wall, and I knew that was my only shot to win the race. Like I said, I'd watched him lead 300-something laps right behind him. So I knew my car was just as good as his. It was just a matter of who was going to get clean air, and that was the only opportunity I had. And the last thing is, what was it like to get that photo in victory lane with Marissa and Brooks? Yeah, it was super special. I wish Brooks would have rode in the car with me. Boswell smoked him in the head out on the racetrack, and he was screaming and crying. So yeah, I wish I would have got to experience that, but I'll just have to win again with him there. But yeah, it was super special to be able to get to experience that, for sure. That's something that we'll cherish forever, and he probably won't remember it, but I certainly will.
We'll go to Chase Folsom, then we'll wrap up with Deb Williams.
Chase Folsom, frontstretch.com. Chase, in your 7 years with SHR, you've been through so many ups and downs and moments of uncertainty. What does it mean to you to have one final shot to go win a title with these guys?
Yeah, it's huge. I'm a diehard Stewart Haas fan, right? Like, that's the car I cheered for growing up, and I've seen that car win time and time and time again and win a championship. And it's been 90-something races since that car's been in victory lane, and this is, we had 11 chances left to do it. And we've been decent this year. We've been close a couple times, but to be able to do it, like, it would have been awesome if we won next week, but it would have stunk, right? Like, now we at least have a chance to go win a championship, and we don't have any playoff points or anything like that, but at the same time, we were below the cut line the whole time last time we went to the round of 8. And we were talking earlier when Matt asked that question, I kind of love the back up against the wall thing, and that's certainly what we're going to have now. So we just got to go, and if we do like what we did tonight, I mean, we can beat anybody. It's just a matter of putting it all together, and our pit crew did an incredible job tonight. It's going to take that through the course of the playoffs, and yeah, it's definitely cool to win for Stewart Haas. Tony called, and just to hear how excited he is, and just for everybody, right? Like, from a morale standpoint, it's huge at our building because it's been tough. It's definitely just a weird time right now there, and for me to be there for 7 years and be like family with a lot of those guys, it means a lot.
Close with Deb.
Deb Williams, Auto Week. Chase, on the front stretch, you said that you were sideways counter steering like you were in a sprint car. With the way this track wears out tires, how did your sprint car experience benefit you tonight?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, every time you come here, I feel like the dirt guys kind of excel. I mean, you still have some guys like a Denny Hamlin or Truex or guys like that, but yeah, there at the beginning of the race, it's me, Reddick, Larson, and Bell all up there, and this track just is a lot like sprint car racing because you have way more power. You have to be comfortable slipping and sliding around, and then the other thing is at this racetrack more than anywhere else, you are constantly just searching for grip. You have to search, and try to find grip and manipulate your car to do things that it doesn't want to do, and you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable here. So yeah, I think it's no surprise that sprint car guys and just dirt guys in general typically run good here, just because we're used to sliding around.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Chase, Richard, congrats on becoming crown jewel champions at the Lady in Black.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.